Okay, now that we have practiced using the base 10 blocks to divide and then linking that to our area model, now we're just going to do just the area model on the board. When I did this in class, the students did have the blocks to manipulate at their seats, but all I did on the board was the area model. So that's all I'm going to do on the board here. Okay, so Robert was picking berries to bring to his mother, his grandmother, and his aunt. He picked 437 berries and separated them equally into 3 pails. How many berries did Robert give to each person? So our most important word in our question is each. So that would be our main idea. My who is Robert. My what is berries. I have my unit bar. They could also use the get chart here if that's what they prefer. So I go back and I reread. Robert was picking berries to bring to his mother, his grandmother, and his aunt. So that doesn't really tell me much to do on my unit bar, so I'm going to continue. He picked 437 berries. Well, that's the total that he picked, so that would go on top. 437 berries. And separated them equally into 3 pails. So that tells me I need to separate my bar into 3 equal pieces. Pail 1, pail 2, and pail 3. How many berries did Robert give to each person? That tells me that I'm looking for the in number inside my each. Okay, so we write our number sentence, 437 berries divided by 3 pails equals how many in each. All right, so then I have them draw our area model, and I like to make it nice and big so that we have room to write inside. So our total goes on the bottom, 437. That's what this whole area model is equal to. It's a 3-digit number, so I should have 3 sections, my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. You'll notice that I try to make them kind of the hundreds bigger than the tens and then the ones. Doesn't always work because I'm messy on the smart boards. My dividend, that is my dividend, I'm sorry, my divisor goes on the side, the 3. That's how many groups I have. So I'm going to start by thinking if I give it each group 100, so I have 3 groups times 100 in each would equal 300. Well, 300 is less than 437, so I'm fine. But I don't know. Could I give them another one? Let's see. I would do 300 times 200. Get ahead of myself sometimes. 3 times 2 is 6, and my 2 zeros carry over. Well, 600 is more than 437, so that's too much. I would cross it off, and I would use this fact. I related it back to when we were doing partial products. We did the side number times the top number equals the area of that box. Well, the area of the box is 300. I have my 3, and so my 100 is what would go on top. That's how much we put in each group. And then I have my total of 300. I'm going to do my subtraction over here on the side so that I have room. So I started with 437. I'm subtracting what I've used so far, that's 300. That leaves me with 137. I'm going to switch colors, and then we talked about the tens. So if we put 1 10 in each group, it would be 3 times 10, and that would be a total of 30. Well, I'm trying to get to 137, so I'm going to have to go for a while. So 3 times 20 equals 60. And we did each one, but for the sake of time, I'm going to do dot, dot, dot. I know that 3 times 4 would be 120. 3 times 40. So I'm going to go one more. 3 times 50. 150. Well, 150 is too much, so that's crossed off, and I'm using the 3 times 40. 3 is on the side, so I write my 40 on the top. And I have 120. That's what I'm going to subtract over here. So that leaves me with 17. I'm going to switch colors again. Now I'm going into my ones. I have 17 ones. So I'm going to do 3 times 1, I would give each group 1, and that equals 3. Well, I'm trying to get up to 17. Well, since I know my 3's, I'm going to skip ahead. And I know that 3 times 5 is 15. That gets close. 3 times 6 would be 18. Well, 18 is too much. I can't use that one, so I would use 3 times 5. So I have my 3 over here again. So 3 times 5 equals 15. So I would subtract. And that leaves me with 2. So I have a remainder of 2. And sorry, I'm going to try to move this over. Because I would write my remainder of 2 out next to the box like this. Okay, the next step is to add the insides to make sure that I have the correct number. So I'm adding 300, 120, 15, and then I have to be sure to add in that remainder. That's why we add it out to the side, so when we're adding the middle, we don't miss it. 437, this matches what I started with, so that the inside is correct. So then to find my answer, I would use the expanded form at the top of the chart. 100 plus 40 plus 5 is 145. And then I'm sure to add on my remainder of 2. So that is how we would do division with partial quotients using an area model.